Hello and welcome to another update video about Solana. Yeah, just moving sideways basically. I think in the previous video we did talk about possibility of one more low in the orange support area. We did see that. I think that all came from the idea how to count this C wave to the downside. Yeah, because we could count in this overall more complex WXY correction. We could count an A wave, a B wave, and a C wave, but the C wave didn't have 5 waves. However, now it has. So that's great. So now we could count yesterday, I think, a 1, a 2, a 3, a possible 4. We're waiting for one more leg down. So that occurred. I mean, the wave 4 just jumped a little bit. So the wave 4 probably ended here. But then we got our wave 5. Since then, it's been moving up. But it is not impulsive yet. That's what you typically want to see now. Okay, if you wait for an impulsive price action before buying, things can change quickly in the crypto market. You know that. Now, I'm not telling you how to deal with your strategy. I'm just saying that at the moment, I have no evidence that this move down is finished, even though we have 5 waves down. But that's not typically how it works. You need the WXY complete in this case. I assume it's a WXY. And in the ABC, we want to see 5 waves down, correct? But then we need to see now a reversal happen, right? So whenever we have a corrective price pattern complete, and yesterday we didn't, but now we have, then we can be watching for a possible reversal. Now today we see a little bit of green in the crypto market, but what Solana now needs to do to convince us that the trend is shifting, it needs to break above the previous wave 4 high. So there we talk about $21. In the end, it needs to break above the descending price channel. That's a corrective price channel as per, well, the definition really. As long as it is in this corrective price channel, it's going to follow the correction. So we really need those 5 waves to the upside, breaking above the descending price channel, and then reach wave 3 targets. And based on the latest low, targets for the third wave would be, talk about the 1.618 extension. So it shifted down a little bit because that C wave went down a little bit. So again, these targets always shift because they are based on the previous wave, right? So until you have a confirmed low in place, and I wouldn't even call it confirmed low in place yet, but we have a possible low in place, but I'm not confident about it. I wouldn't be surprised if it just continues lower. In fact, as long as we are not seeing an impulse, we have to focus on lower, because that's the short-term trend. We have to give preference to the trend. So even though the corrective price pattern is complete, you now need to see evidence that it's turning around. So far, it hasn't made higher highs, higher lows. Maybe on the very small time frame, yes, but here, looking at this, it hasn't done anything exciting. However, so far it's holding. If you zoom out a bit, it's holding those higher lows. It's holding those support areas. And at the moment, we are in this sort of orange one for the 1-2 setup. If it breaks below 1990, then I wouldn't be surprised if it comes back to around about $17. This will be significant support, and we would then have to reset this large wave 2. We have to then think about, was this just a wave 1, A wave down, overshooting B wave, and then a C wave down, right? It's just this flat correction situation that we have on various crypto charts at the moment. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to add an alternative wave 2 here. This is relevant support, the 1730 level in my opinion. Ideally is holding that in the worst case. So if we break below 1990, we're falling back basically in the higher level scenario, where I'm counting this as a wave 1, where we already reacted here to the support area on the 15th of March. And it might be it needs that. Even though at the moment it's all okay, we have a WXY technically complete. We can be watching for a reversal, but so far there is no sign, okay? So we need to see those signals, then we can reach those targets. Until then, preference has to be given to the short-term downtrend until the market now proves that it is reversing in an impulsive fashion in a third wave. Again, here the idea, but that's really, you have to decide that for your own. That's just how I would normally approach this. It's all about the idea of scaling in. Basically here, if you have one deep support area, one shallow one, I would always trade for the deeper one, because if you trade for the shallow one, you might get stopped out very quickly. Means you need to give your trade a bit more space, set the stop loss further. You can do that by adjusting your position size. That's just how it generally, from a, in my opinion, reasonable standpoint would be done. I had a question how to scale in with leverage. In my opinion, there's no difference at all. But if you use leverage, you obviously still need to adhere to typical risk management procedures, which many people don't do. So of course, for people who don't adhere even to the most simple risk management principles, for them, that wouldn't work. If you go all in somewhere, then it won't work, because you need to be able to position size accordingly. But that, anyway, we talk a lot about that in the membership. But typically, it's often recommended not to risk more than 1 or 2% of your portfolio in a single trade. I know a lot of people do more. That's fine if it works for you. Reality, it often doesn't. It might work for a trade. It might work for a week. It typically doesn't work week over week over week over week. You need to be very, very careful in terms of risk management in this space, right? But this is the idea of scaling. If it turns around in the end here and you only have sort of that part of your bag filled in terms of positions, then that's fine, because in the end you make profit. And a lot of people have a problem with that. They then always ask, all right, but my position didn't get filled or only partially. But that's fine. I mean, nobody says in trading you have to get always your entire position filled. I mean, that requires a mindset change. A lot of people, I don't know why it is so much in people's brains that you need to get your position filled, treating every trade as if it was their last trade. I mean, there are hundreds of trading possibilities every day. So if you don't get your position filled, but the trade goes in your direction and you only have it partially filled, be happy, because you make some profits. You can use that money for your next setup. There are setups everywhere, right? Every day. So rather play it safe, in my opinion. But, I can only really share my opinion here. No financial advice. It's quite general. So, but that's the situation. Only below 1732, this will start to look a bit strange, and I will start to doubt if we really are going to see that larger, that wave 3 target. Because if it breaks below that 1732 level, then there's a risk we get 5 waves down, and then you can still count it as a very weird, let me see, WXYXZ correction. So WXYXZ. From here, it then has another chance to rally, but this is a correction I rarely see. It's so rare. It's a bit like seeing a unicorn and a leprechaun together. You don't see them, and the problem is a lot of people who are, let's say, new with Elliott Wave, they apply this all the time, but I can tell you from someone who's been using Elliott Wave for more than a decade, you don't tend to see this, because it doesn't make any, nothing makes this pattern any different from a diagonal pattern to the downside. Nothing. So wave 1, wave 2, 3, 4, 5. So, well, that should be. So that's the problem. You have then 5 waves down to the downside, and that is. There's nothing that distinguishes a WXYXZ from a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 diagonal pattern. Nothing. So tell me the difference. You can't. So that is what makes this pattern so unreliable. So from that point of view, if we break below that 1732 level and it risks breaking below the 10th of March low, which was actually at 1610 roughly, then this will become a very strange chart, and it definitely will lose some credibility. But at the moment it's holding support. So just want to talk about here probabilities and options and fallback scenarios. But for now it's holding support. We have to treat it as such. And as long as it does, a bullish outcome is preferred. Okay, that's my update about Solana. I hope you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.